Open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. What a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Well, you may not be in a hammock, on your back porch. You probably can't be in your hammock under your coconut tree. But guess what? Through prayer, petition, supplication, a sense of presence of mind, body, and spirit, we can enjoy and give thanks. We invite you to be a part of our talk today, so stay tuned.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp. Imagine us older folks yesterday, without even asking, they managed to get a break from our digital domain where we were all seemingly unsure what to do with the time on our hands. I can imagine many of us have withdrawal symptoms. Our thumbs were probably unsure what to do as we were not able to, engage how we would normally. Well, a lot of friends were saying we should probably have this at least once a month, that cleanse that we need. Well, with that, I share not so much in jest as serious as it is, how many people yesterday felt lost. They weren't sure what to do. And then did we look at our young people? They were like, WhatsApp's down? Really? Facebook? Really? Those things still exist? Well, the discussion yesterday, I think, proved timely after the fact, because it just reminds us that there are those of us who are so connected to our devices that we seem that they are actually implanted in us. And yet our young people, our children, are aware of those, but rarely use those platforms. And so for them, they probably had little or no impact. Well, maybe it begs the question, are we really grounded to the right things? Are we connected to the people in our lives? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Share your thoughts with us as you wish. And I want to share with you, maybe let's read these couple of things, messages that came through. It says, I was watching, this was in relation to yesterday morning's proceedings, and don't see anyone counting in the vaccinated population or immunized population, the people that have already got COVID and are immunized. We must have about 80 to 90% in this person's estimation. So this government gave everyone the opportunity to get the vaccine. Now, if the rest of the people decide to not take the shot, that is their prerogative. If by now the person will get sick, then so be it. Go to the hospital or not, so be it. All people that got COVID in Cayman have been treated and no one has passed. We have the medical expertise to save people. No one has died in 2 years. So if I took 2 doses of the vaccine, why am I reprimanding for others that probably will never take the vaccine? And this is, where I think increasingly we're seeing more and more of us finding this growing divide, such that there are some who no longer wish to have any sort of discussion about it because, one, they find it has become exhausting, not necessarily exhaustive, but exhausting. And two, they're starting to finally recognize that we are losing, each other in this discussion. We are becoming so divided in our divisive comments that we no longer can hear any sort of reasoned, rational, respectful responses simply because, like so many things, all we do is hear the messenger and no longer hear the message. So what's on your mind? Share your thoughts with us. 949-8037. Call the toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. What is really important to us? What is really important to you personally? And to what extent is that thing, or sometimes those things, so significantly important that is materially impacting your life in a negative way? Now, sometimes that important thing affects us in a very positive way, but for some reason, we don't share the joy. But in any event, do we share with people how important this thing is to us? The indelible impression they left on us, the impact that it has had on us. And when we do, are they listening? Well, maybe in the vein of trying to get us to a point. I've toyed with it many times, and I don't think I'm as good as a storyteller as some of my friends and family. Certainly the jokes come off their tongues a lot easier, but here's one that the very good counsel of Mr. Jeff Schofield has shared with us. So maybe it will not be our practice to share a joke of the day, but I thought you may want to, know sometimes the little things across our desk. So compliments to Mr. Schofield. He says, we should be grateful that we live where we can have and see the benefits of a good vocabulary. And he referenced an incident where someone had called an old engineering friend and asked, what he was up to those days. And the engineering friend responded, says he was working, on an aquathermal treatment of ceramics, aluminum and steel under a constrained environment. And I would ask, and if you share that the joke of the day, that's fine. But if you don't, take a venture as to what you think that would translate as. This is from the mind of an engineer that is working on an aquathermal treatment of ceramics, aluminum, and steel on the constrained environment. When you think about it, engineers, like scientists, they tend to sometimes experiment with things, not unlike, biologists and those with God complexes may do on lab rats, whether they're the four-legged, two-legged, whether they're the white mice in those, dark basements deep down into the bellows of certain places, or whether they're, other things in order to advance science. But I wonder, what would you think this would translate as? If someone was working on an aquathermal treatment of ceramics, aluminum, and steel under a constrained environment. It's not a quiz, but let's try it. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sores are sore foot are sores, right?
Sore foot or sores?
I've heard about that sore when you get a cut.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I had to adjust my head. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Well, me tell you, man, politics is one of the biggest sore around the world. When the farmer, I'm listening to the radio this morning and I heard the farmer premier.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, I just turned on the radio and hear him saying why the government forcing people to take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was in power, he was one of them who was telling the people to take it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so I don't have much to say. We just tell about politics, It's a big story.
Yeah, I am. Thankfully, I live in a community where many of us seem to enjoy at least the banter of politics. Right. Some of us probably so enamored by it that we may venture directly as candidates or even get involved in the election of, the next representative or the like. But it is, I'm glad that you share that because And I take my hat off to the former premier. He is certainly very astute, gifted as an orator. Certainly knows, the gift of gab and has the craft of hand, right? But here is well, let me ask: is this part of the challenge of the Westminster model? We understand how adversarial the party system can be and how the political landscape. The loyal opposition is the government in waiting. So for them to look good, they have to do things to make the government not look so good.
Right. I'm gonna hang up and listen, you man. I just said that,
Yeah, man.
All right, Bob. Good.
Thank you for sharing. And as the caller sort of echoed the sentiments, I don't think anybody should in any way infer that the gentleman was not a gentleman in his comments, B, in any way disparaging or disrespectful. He just stated the obvious. But it just shows that the nature of the game. And I'm glad he opened that, because that has been the comment probably more than I've ever received in any one day from the many people, very, very strong loyalists to the party and the like, who said, but wait a minute, this is the same government that was championing, opening, pushing people to get vaccines so they can get to this stage, who were calling, for the government to set a date. They need to be decisive and set a date to reopen. And then when the now government in power does that, seemingly, and I'm trying to relay the comments that have been received by many, some of whom, if you were, as they said, told who they were, or able to speak it directly, you would go, wow, that's your view. Someone would say, listen, it's a game of politics, one-upmanship. Let me undermine you so that, this one can look better. And now that the government sets a date to open, they say, well, why are you rushing it? The question is, though, is the politician so crafted that the voters constantly duped? Is the voters so ill-informed and disengaged that they don't know, one end from the next? Well, let's see if we can have a discussion where we can agree in a way that isn't just about consensus building, but about making it a more positive impact. And importantly, to disagree in a responsible, respectful, civil way that moves us forward in a better direction. Well, let's get into it. Remember, I wouldn't mind you sharing with me what you think that thing translates as. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
You can now register to receive a securely verified digital copy of your COVID-19 vaccination status with QR code through the My HSA patient portal. Sign up is available at all HSA locations and at various sites throughout the community. To register, all you need is your photo ID showing date of birth and a valid email address. Visit hsa.ky and click My HSA Patient Portal for the sign-up schedule and more information.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online. And you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. And thank you so much for joining us. I know, like many of us, we feel the rain on our faces. And if I can say to you that I had the wonderful joy just the other day to just be out in the rain and let it fall on my skin. Reminds us of to be alive. Well, I'm honored to have in the studio from the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens, Miss Maxine Bravo. If I might say, I say this often, but I don't think often enough. I say it in a way with love, but I'm not sure it even conveys the love, the respect, and appreciation of all of the charitable endeavors in our society, of all the service clubs and the acts of service that we've seen. For me, the epitome is when the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens. 2 decades, if not more. I attended the evening in the West Bay Town Hall. It wasn't a library at then. And to see this championing of health and to talk about breast cancer when it wasn't really, well, our fate to do so in this country. The word was whispered. And to be one of 2 men in the audience, somewhat, tentatively, but you've gone from that to where now we're having a discussion and we're seeing a change. And you've only, as a club, made it that much more encompassing. So thanks very much. I think it's set the example for many to follow.
Thank you very much for having me again, Sterling. It is a pleasure. Listening audience, I am Maxine Bravo, the president of the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens, and here representing the club today for our Breast Cancer Awareness 24-year campaign. It has been a challenge during this COVID time to even try to do plans and to figure out how we can best help the public. And yes, we continue our efforts as a club, as a service club, and one of perhaps the most involved service club in the island that continues to assist persons annually.
And I think this is where we're seeing not just the assistance, whether it's financial or whether it's, physical in some way, the emotional support, but the notion that through the discussion, the education, we're becoming informed, we're becoming engaged, but we also starting to get to a space where we understand, ounce prevention is upon a cure. Early detection saves lives. It's no longer just something that has become a cliche. It's actually a mantra that I think men have taken, to heart.
That's correct. And earlier we were at West Bay Clinic, and it was surprising to see the number of men who came up and was asking questions. Those men were interested not only for themselves to get information for themselves, but also to take back that information to their family, their loved ones. One man even asked, but I don't have breasts like a woman. Can I get breast cancer? And annually we've been getting those questions, and the answer is yes. Always, if you do have a history, a family history, just have your doctors, your physicians check that for you. We do not distribute mammogram vouchers to men, but we encourage men to get checked when they go in for their physical checkup at their physicians.
Yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm hopeful that, at the evenings where the presentations that we attend, and that for us, you recognize that men, maybe it's the words in the English language, sometimes it's one of the most unfortunate languages for people in a sense, because some words have different connotations just depending on the context. But the woman with her breast, the man, it's not a breast. It's the same thing.
Yes, the same thing.
And the checks, the mammogram for a woman, we can see it being a little bit more possible for some than it is for maybe a man. But in the checks, how does a man do it? Well, these evenings of presentation, those questions can be asked and answered to the physicians.
And the man does the check the same way the woman would do the check. Just to remind you that if you are concerned, if you feel a lump, if you are uncertain, and if you have a wife or partner at home, when you feel it, there's nothing wrong to ask your partner to also feel, just to be on the safe side. And if you're still in doubt, go to your physician.
Yeah. And I think that's where we probably, and I'm sure, not just speaking to the choir, it applies to us individually. We ignore a lot. We even go to the physician and, well, that thing was only, and we play it down, but maybe with this constant reminder, we understand the importance of it. And as you shared, the partners, if one feels it, the other can. It can be a time of sharing, a time of giving, a time of caring, and not to become frightened and paralyzed by that fear, but become concerned and involved and engaged in championing our own health.
Get education, because education, early detection again, saves lives. What I really want the public to understand is that breast cancer is not only attacking women over 40 now. It's going to the younger women. And we have been seeing the cases within our community where a number of persons have had recurring breast cancer. So you caught it early, and then it came back and perhaps come back more aggressive.
Yeah. It's something that, and it was a conversation some years ago after one of the physicians made a presentation. And this is, I think, where those evenings like that help us, because we get the presentation very factual.
Yes.
But the fellowship, as I call it, that happens after, much more casual. Conversations are much easier because then everybody feels a little more comfortable. But I recall in one of them, one of the ladies in the group saying, well, she's always had, hopefully I get it right, and apologies if I don't. Fibrous tissue.
Fibrocystic.
So yeah.
Fibrocystic.
Okay.
Right.
And so little noticeable lumps in there all the time, and pays attention to it. And the physician would say, but I recall my interpretation and recollection of the question to the physician that evening, she was concerned that because that was her experience from as long as she can remember having breasts and going and getting checks, that would the physician downplay it, ignore it, well, that's normal.
Right.
But then she'll feel it. Yeah, and so...
Insist. So you have the right. Physicians will go, they assess you according to what you tell them. But if you're in doubt, insist. Insist for that check to be done. Your wellness, when you go to do your wellness, insist for that check to be done. If you suspect something, insist. Because some of the times, a woman can go and get a mammogram done, and it's not, you might not see anything. But then the doctor you might have a family history, or it might be your grandmother, you might never know. The father might have had some colon cancer or something, any form of cancer within your gene. Just mention that to your physician and be persistent in asking to get checked.
Yeah. And I think, as I think of the Lions Club of Grand Cayman with their the PACE event, they're looking at the prostate and colon cancer, I'm reflecting that if we're in an environment where there are people who are there because they're interested, concerned, impacted, affected by this common thing, the conversation is going to evolve much easier. So with the women that come out in the evening, whether they're under 40 or over 40, they can ask of someone who may have experienced something directly, who has that level of insight because they've had the knowledge firsthand. It makes us more empowered, more informed, and I'm hoping that people will avail themselves of it. So I commend you for it, man. It's been a great journey, as it were.
Thank you very much, Sterling. Last year we had to take things down a notch in terms of going out to the public face to face. And we just want to remind the public that we will be doing awareness meetings this year. We will be controlling the crowd at the locations, recognizing the government's regulations, because that's a must. All persons are mandated to wear masks and to sanitize, and we will be controlling the numbers that will come in. Now, we know that our biggest groups are West Bay and Georgetown. So we are encouraging. Georgetown is considered a open air space, so that crowd control is 250 maximum. Yes, at the Lions Center, and I'll give you the dates shortly. And then West Bay, of course, at John Gray, the capacity there, including Lions and presenters, will not go over 100. So we just want to remind the audience that government mandate is a must. And if you do think that you're going to come out and you cannot make it to any of those two, then just reach out to us at our number, and we will perhaps be able to facilitate you to give you additional education and awareness. And if you do want to apply for the voucher, we are located at 522 Shedden Road.
I'm hopeful that people will see this, especially now when, hopefully not this year as much as last year, where for many different reasons, people were not as anxious to go out and about. Perhaps they even skipped some of their follow-up appointments and the like. But this year, that they won't, be put off by that and avail themselves. Well, when you come back from the break, Ms. Maxine, if you will share with us as you wish, but also the dates and extend the invitation. Always, an honor for us to partner with the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens in particular. If you find that if you have a particular penchant for them, well, I tell you, we do. So when you come back, if you have a question or comment, you want to share something, the phone lines are available. Right after the headline news, we'll have some open line until 1:30, and then at 1:30 we'll get a chance to talk to you about some of the good things that are happening over the HSA again in relation to applied behavioral analysis. Until then, we want you to join us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Water Authority Cayman will be conducting leak detection work in Northside on Thursday, 7th October from midnight until 5 a.m. Areas that will be impacted include Frank Sound Road, Northside Road, Rum Point Drive, and Water K Road. Customers living along these roads and all adjacent roads will experience intermittent service during this period. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it undertakes these works and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Census 2021, came and get ready. Census starting 10th of October 2021. Census rockers will be counted. Little Cayman we come in. People get ready. 2021. Information is secret. 2021 census starting October 10th. 2021 census. 2021 census. Census.
2021 census. Everyone counts.
COVID-19 vaccines are the only way forward in reopening our borders safely. Take the COVID-19 vaccine to protect yourself and the ones you love, especially those of us who cannot get vaccinated. For more information on the COVID-19 vaccine, visit www.gov.ky/coronavirus.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. Thanks to the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens for their continuing work. As you know, we're all grateful for the continued work of our service clubs. We have the president, Ms. Maxine Bravo, in the studio, and it's the month of October. I think October is synonymous, with breast cancer awareness and with the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens. I mean, you put it on the calendar, right?
Yes.
All right, so share with us, Mom.
All right, so For the month of October, we still have quite a bit going on. For this week, we've started out with our West Bay Clinic, and where we also have women joining there to be educated and issuing mammogram vouchers. So we had quite a number out earlier today. All clinics are 10 to 12. We move to East End tomorrow, East End Church of God, Universal Church Hall, and we will be there from 7 p.m. All awareness meetings will be held at 7 p.m. And then for the end of this week, we finalize our week at Northside Clinic. That's Friday the 8th at Northside Clinic, 10 to 12. The calendar of events continues, and our Brenda Tibbetts Lund Memorial Run Walk, which would have been campaign number 24, should have been held at the public beach, West Bay Road. We are inviting the audience, or I should say the listening audience, to still register. At this time, we will not be having our normal run walk because of the government's protocol. We are encouraging you to still register. And what we will be doing this year is we will change it around to a virtual walk run, where we will spread it over 3 days. And at the end of the month, we will honor all participants who shared their photographs with us. And this is when you're walking, we encourage you to take photos and share that with us in groups. However you do it, just register, continue to register. These monies raised from the run walk goes towards assisting persons for charity mammogram vouchers. And I don't have to say how expensive it is for a voucher. The running groups we encourage on the 29th, 30th, and the 31st. Runners and walkers can do a 5 or a 10K on any of those dates. Share their photographs. Take the photographs, both front and back of your T-shirts. If you're walking with your animals, do take pictures and share it with us. Our email address is bcaawareness@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, Lions Club of Tropical Gardens, and we are also available on website at www.lionscluboftropicalgardens.com. Follow us on our social media. You can send us by hashtagging at BTL Walk Run or at LCTG Breast Cancer Awareness at Live Walk Hope. And persons are eligible. All persons who participated and have registered will be eligible to enter into our drawing of our random prizes. So you're still going to be getting your prizes, your participation medals as well. But we are encouraging you to do this fun walk. Let's do it as a fun walk, a wellness walk on your own time. Select whatever time of day you want to do it. Do it with family and friends and share the pictures with us. Now, we also want to remind the public that those photos taken, anything in pink, is also shared with CUC, and CUC is running that program again that they did last year for us, where every photo shared or tag that CUC is tagged into, we will be funds will be awarded to us, and the target for raising funds is $3,000, I believe, is their target. All the information are available on our Facebook page as well. Or if you so choose to, if you did not get the information and you want to get further information, you can contact us at 936-1739. Okay, so that's it for the run walk. I want to also remind the audience, so instead of the 10th, it's the 29th, 30th, and the 31st. We still have our Pink Shop open as well. All items are available on our Pink Shop website. We are now on website. Yes, everything is virtual, audience. So find us on Pink Shop website. You cannot pay online, so place your order and just pick it up from us. So the Pink Shop website is Lions Club of Tropical Gardens Pink Shop. Quite easy. You can place your order. You get your pins, your caps. We have water bottles. And we have all kind of nice goodies this year. We have a lot of items for both men and women. We have our Dress Down, Dress Pink Day, which is coming up on the 31st. The last Friday, which is the 30th of October. Please, we have limited supplies of the polo shirts. If you want the polo T-shirts or you want T-shirts, please come on out and see us. We are at 522 Shedden Road. That is right beside Mango Tree Restaurant. And I encourage you to do it as a corporate, in your corporate teams as well.
It makes it more, enjoyable and build that camaraderie. Ms. Maxine, we do have a caller online.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, caller.
Hello, sir.
How are you today?
Not too bad,
All right.
I was trying to debate something. How are you today? Yes, sir.
All right. If you have the radio on, you might be getting some feedback. That might be making it a little bit more.
No, when we say we going out there and we go fishing, right? We are the Caymanians, right? I born and raised there. 1980, September the 3rd.
Yeah. Would I
right?
Could I not?
I say.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Law.
Yeah. Hello, sir. If you would forgive me, given that it's almost news time, could I ask you just to hold on so we can just quickly conclude with Ms. Maxine in relation to this and then have you join us for the open line segment right after the news?
We can talk to you on a different line.
Yeah, you want us to? If you need us to call you back, hold on, and we'll fix you up. Do not disconnect, okay?
Okay.
All right, hold on, and then we'll take care of that. And it's 4 minutes to Ms. Maxine. We'll make sure that works, but give you an opportune time to share some thoughts with us.
Oh, sure. So thanks to the caller who called in.
Yes.
Probably has a burning
Yes.
conversation, so I hope you'll be able to get him. Reminding the public that we also have our Step Challenge, which started on the 1st of October. It runs until the 25th of October. And I just want to correct the Dress Down, Dress Pink Day. It's the last
29th.
Friday, which is the 29th, not the 30th. I think I'm already in Halloween. So
Well, you're all wearing masks now.
Exactly. So it's the 29th. Dress up in your pinks. Most fashionable pink. Guess what? We might have a surprise for you. So the team, perhaps with the best pink outfit, might never know. You might get a very good surprise. Our polo shirts are only $15 and the T-shirts $10. We want to thank our sponsors: Jamaica National Money, Breast Cancer Foundation, Remax, and I want to get them all right. So if you give me a second here.
As we speak to Ms. Maxine Bravo, the president of the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens, the month of October, breast cancer awareness.
Yes, and all funds raised during this month goes towards our charity mammogram vouchers. Breast Cancer Foundation, Remax, Cayman Islands, JN Money, Cayman National, Cayman Water, Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company Limited, Caribbean Insurance Practices International Limited, Guardian General Insurance Company Limited. We want to thank our sponsors who continue to support us throughout the years. These are our sponsors who have really donated to making this activity, this campaign, a success this year in support of those persons in need of mammogram.
Okay. Well, this is what's important, and I think as we share that, so hopefully the people that want more information to come up with Maxine, the website is there.
Yes.
It is an opportune time for us to appreciate the health,
Yes, and so, Sterling, I have not given all the dates for our events, but I want to remind the listening audience that we are on Facebook, as well as the information is available on our website, lionscluboftropicalgardens.com, or on our Facebook page, Lions Club of Tropical Gardens. All dates are available online. What we will do, we will also provide you with a calendar of events at all awareness meetings and clinics, and you will see a little table at the awareness meetings where the gender diversity group will have informational brochure available. They are partnering with us this year to share information on gender abuse and violence.
Okay. This is where I think, the education, information, and active participation of our community gives us a chance to have a better quality of life. And you guys are champions. So thanks so much. Huh?
Thank you very much.
Well, anytime we can help to educate, inform, and provide a platform, let us know. Ms. Maxine Bravo, you and your team do a wonderful, wonderful job.
Thanks very much.
All right. I'm going to pause and take a short break. We'll come back. Hopefully we can connect to that caller again. Our apologies to him for that, but really grateful that he was so gracious to let us just conclude the segment. Open line until 1:30, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Mr. Ian Stein has been appointed Pan-American Health Organization World Health Organization representative to Jamaica, Bermuda, and the Cayman Islands. He is based in Kingston, Jamaica. Mr. Stein possesses substantial experience in developing and maintaining partnerships for health, the management of health crises, and a broad range of public health topics, including immunization, early child health, health promotion, environmental health, and HIV/AIDS. In international news, some 216,000 children, mostly boys, have been sexually abused by clergy in the French Catholic Church since 1950, a damning new inquiry has found. The head of the inquiry said there were at least 2,900 to 3,200 abusers and accused the church of showing a cruel indifference towards the victims. Pope Francis, quote, felt pain on hearing about the inquiry's finding, a Vatican statement said. One of those abused said it was time the church reassessed its actions. Facebook's founder Mark Zuckerberg has apologized for the disruption caused after its social media services went down for almost 6 hours, impacting more than 3.5 billion users worldwide. Users found themselves without the social media tools they use to keep in touch with friends and family. Meanwhile, businesses around the world which use social media to connect with customers were faced with the prospect of an unexpected financial hit. French fashion house Givenchy has been criticized after models wore necklaces shaped like nooses on the catwalk at its Paris Fashion Week show. 3 models wore gold and silver versions of the accessory at Givenchy's Spring-Summer 2022 show on Sunday. It comes 2 years after Burberry said sorry for a hoodie featuring a noose. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And to the gentleman who just called, again, our sincerest apologies. And hopefully, he can rejoin us if he wishes. But as he was sharing, he was talking about the fishing and the like. We didn't want to interrupt his train of thought and have it a disjointed conversation. So for the next half an hour or so, we do have some open line that you can share your thoughts with us. A lot of sort of questions and some unasked publicly, some unanswered even. But if we don't feel that there's a safe, nurturing place to comment, then really we're doing not just ourselves, but our society a great disservice. So let's see if we can change that so that we can get to a place where we can have a healthy discussion. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome back again. And thank you too, sir, for letting us do what we did. Thank you again for...
Yeah. I had to give you a break there because I saw you had to take a little break.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. I was just inquiring in that Caymanians can go fishing offshore or nothing. I mean, how we going to survive around here? I mean, we got conch season soon open. We got lobster season soon open. we only can get so much per day, right, to feed our families. So what are we going to do now if they want us, if the DOE want us to lock down now, all right now, see that now, we got to go all the way out to the last buoy out there to go fishing now. And then even if we go get a little construction work, I don't see it feasible because the expatriates taking over all our work. Because there's nobody here. I mean, I know my trade, you know. You understand? I got my politicians that I vote for in this country, you know. And I don't want to be standing up and voting every 4 years for people that going to make me stand down. I want people to bring me up. And these are the people that brought me here, man. Come on now. So how I must live? That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? There's a boom in construction since this COVID-19 coming in. But what's the boom after this thing is done down? When the rundown come down, I want to know what's going down.
So what do you think we should happen?
I want to know.
Okay. So with that, then what should we do?
What we're going to do? Rely on politicians and they vote to live? No. Because political strategy keep us hungry, you know. And when we want to get some food, our brothers got to be our enemies. You understand? In this country where we sit down here, it's an ambush in the night on the site. If we don't know what we're going to do, who's going to know for us? So, and I'm standing up. And I see it. I see it coming now. I see the future coming now, Rastafari, you know. Because I am not no fool. You know.
Not at all. Don't let nobody play you for one.
So I see things coming in the near future that our children will suffer and starve. No, we got COVID-19 in the schools. No, we can't send our children to school. We got to give them education at home. We see what's going on. Rastafari. Anyway, we're not going to say no more. Because maybe I be an enemy to the country still. Maybe they might turn against me if I say certain things. Because I see them behind the scenes, you know. And they are the ones that selling us out. The same ones that you out there voting for is the same ones that selling us out for less than $1. Because they want your enemy, your friend, your brother, just to get some food. Yeah, see? Bob Marley never lied when he said that, you know. Your brother gonna be your enemy just to get some food. All right?
Well,
don't talk.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I hope they'll be listening and responding.
I'm gonna tell you my name. My name is Abraham Augustus Oakley. I am a voter in this country, and no man can take my voting rights away from me. But I can tell you something over this radio station today, that if we don't see what's coming in our country, we will be the sufferers. We will suck salt. All right? And who is our enemies? Our own.
Well, the Bible talks about last days, you know. Good, bad, good.
All right. And I'm a godly man, boss, Ross.
Yeah, man.
I love him. Respect.
Respect, man. Respect.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. And as we listen to the caller, maybe we'll be able to pick, you know, the whole notion that he's calling for civility and responsibility, for a sense of leadership with humility, a presence of a society that is unified. I know we hear that we only as strong as the weakest link. The question is, do we take to heart the notion that those that are the most vulnerable are the ones that we are supposed to draw alongside and shore up, make sure we protect them the very best. But unfortunately, it seems that increasingly on a global scale, it's might override. It's a sense of the power of the gun or the goal that makes the rule, as opposed to the sense of love. Maybe we are, you know, speaking into a vacuum. Maybe we are no longer surrounded and girded by a sense of love. Well, what is on your mind? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255 or 1-800-534-8255. WhatsApp 925-3261. Very, very, pensive moments for many. For many, maybe they're starting to become despondent, feel a sense of despair, a sense of hopelessness that engulfs people when they become, not necessarily diagnosed as clinically depressed, but down, other sorts, dejected even. For those people who feel that, a bit apathetic, well, let's see if we can appreciate it. That is us who must work together. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you?
I'm blessed from all the hair on my head to the calluses on my feet, my friend.
And even with our hair in the head, we have indeed.
Yeah, there's a little baby hair there, though, It still counts.
Does it now? Does it now?
God still can count them. They're still there somewhere. But that gentleman that was speaking a while ago, when he put his name, Abraham, and then I sort of recognized his voice. Yeah, he has a lot to say that, we've got to really be paying attention to a lot of things that's happening around us right now to really get a grasp on where we are in this world and what time it is in this world.
Yep.
The earth is changing. The very earth is changing. Their magnetic fields are changing in the earth, or poles are shifting. Things are happening that is way beyond our control, and we as men or humans, we're going to try to control it, but it is not something that we're going to be able to grasp till we really understand, the purpose of us being here, sucking up air and, taking up space and leaving carbon footprints on God's creation. The time these politicians and so on are making these decisions, grasping for power to control their citizens. And that's where I see this whole thing at, is a power struggle to control the masses. And, to force someone to take a vaccine, for one thing, is really, the wrong way of going about this. Why I'm saying this? I went to visit my family in Texas. I came back. I went through my 2-week quarantine. My family in Texas, they're involved in the medical field, a lot of them. And my son administers these vaccines and these COVID tests and been doing it since this whole thing started. He is touching, feeling, breathing people with COVID day in and day out. He don't have his vaccine shot either. And the natural immune system that you build up will resist these things if you do what you should do and live a healthy lifestyle in the first place. Cleanliness is of utmost importance when it comes to spreading disease. You need to have a clean environment, otherwise germs can grow and so on. When you think about what they're trying to do, like myself, I'm healthy, thank you, Jesus.
Thank God, yeah.
And I went through 14 days of quarantine, and these people are not going by science. They're going by media hype. Politicians and everybody involved in this, the ones that's not making money from the pharmaceutical companies, are ignorant to the real happenings of what's going on, right? This vaccine, people tried to explain to me, said, when you were a child, didn't you take polio vaccine and so on like that? Listen, I didn't take my measles or my mumps. I had caught the thing already, and so my system is immune to it. I hadn't had any issues. From the time I remember, people been taking flu shots, and they've been getting sick right after they took the flu shot. Worse than I get sick when I don't take it and hang around them and get a little sniffles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for them to tell me that I got to stay 14 days in quarantine, knowing the fact that a vaccinated person, the germ or the virus takes 14 days to incubate, why would you be so stupid to say, oh, since you listen to us, we're going to give you just 5 days in quarantine, and then we let you out on a test? That thing takes 14 days to incubate and get to the point where you can test and find it.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they letting people out, and why are they giving these people that took the vaccine some kind of special privilege that a healthy person like myself can't enjoy? Why are you taking away my privilege because I am healthy? Why? You know, those are the things that that I'm concerned about. Not that, there's a sickness out there that's killing people. I understand that. I think it's TB. Been around for a long, long time. They still hadn't found a cure for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's transmitted just like how this virus is supposed to be transmitted. How come we didn't go run around with masks for years and years and years because there were TB in the world? And it's still there, killing millions of people a year. And we don't do nothing about that. This is to control their citizens, to take away our rights one by one. Very seldom do you notice that all of a sudden all the sand on the beach is gone because of erosion. No, it's a gradual process. That's the same thing that they're doing with our rights.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gradual process. First, we lock you down and let you, feel glad that you didn't get sick. And then next time we lock you down for a little longer. Then we put some more things on you. It's a gradual process to deteriorating our rights. Or rights. We have laws in place that they're ignoring. We have Bill of Rights that governments are ignoring. Why? Why do they give us a Bill of Rights and then try to take the rights away from us illegally by just mandating things? That's what upsets me about this whole thing. The science, there is no science out there that is actually proven that the vaccine is the silver bullet. And if it isn't the silver bullet, why make somebody take it? Why don't, I'm okay with being around vaccinated people or unvaccinated people. I am okay with that. I am okay with me having the potential to get sick and then have to go to the hospital. And then I heard people say, yeah, when you get sick and you go to the hospital and there's no beds and no, well, I said, if I got to go to the hospital and find that there's no beds available, then there must have been a whole bunch of other sick people, and I'm sure that there were some of them vaccinated and some of them were not. So, that logic don't make no sense to me. And the whole thing don't make no sense to me about taking the vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I stand on it.
All right.
Until I, I do more and more research, finding out more and more about this. This vaccine is not a typical vaccine that actually, sort of mimics the previous vaccines that everybody say, oh, you took it when you were a kid and you didn't know, you didn't do. No, this is something they call mRNA altering. It puts it puts
according to what we can understand.
Right. Makes your natural system recognize the protein, and then it's supposed to make your body fight that. Your body will do that anyway. If they find something in your system that is not belonging there, they will fight it anyway. And so I just wanted to air my little piece, because what they did me and locked me down for 14 days, I had nightmares.
I
had nightmares the first 2 days that they were coming outside my door with their handcuffs, shaking their heads, saying $10,000 fine, and you're going to spend some time in Northward, son.
Yeah.
But you stepped outside your door.
That mental anguish that you felt, huh?
That's mental stuff. And I sitting there in that during the during my lockdown, I'm going through that hurricane. I couldn't get out and move my cars from anywhere around there and bring anything to safety because I couldn't get no help even boarding up my place because everybody had to stay 6 foot away from me. How can you do that when you're working to drive? So I suffered all kinds of losses because of the lack of preparation that I didn't do because I was locked down.
Right.
And that. And I lost 2 of my vehicles, and I got my one apartment damaged real bad. My house got damaged, and I'm still working on trying to repair those while they're out there talking about, we got to get this thing under control. We got to, get everybody vaccinated. That's not the issue. We got to get everybody under control so that they can listen to the government. They trust me, government. They're not making our children go to school. They're dumbing us down. They're giving us all kinds of health hazards by breathing that your recycled air. All of that is not good for you. So why are these people doing this? There got to be another reason.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I trust and pray that you find some way to get some assistance for your losses, man. Hey, thanks for sharing your thoughts, huh?
All right, bro. And
Blessings.
Listen, I lost a lot of weight when I was in there. I knocked down. I did a bunch of exercises, and I was waiting. I said, man, I'm licking my lips.
Yeah.
This man promised me 7.5 years ago I might make it through this thing with at least a better attitude. Love you, my friend.
Blessings, my friend.
I'm still waiting on that cornbread. That's the top cornbread,
Bobo, it'll soon come.
When you get it back.
Yeah, I'll let you know, man.
I'll try even your bad ones till we can get it right.
All right. Soon come before Christmas, man. Boy. Reminds me, I enjoy the kitchen, but not as often as I used to. Do we need to take the break? And then there's a caller, we'll take that. All right, stay tuned.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
In the early 1900s, the Sister Islands enjoyed a relative prosperity, with the cultivation and subsequent exports of coconut being the primary industry, as Commissioner Sanguinetti would note during his 1902 visit.
Business seemed brisk. There has been a very large coconut crop, such as not born for years, and the carrying capacity of the island vessels to deal with the export of nuts have been shipped between October and February last.
The coconut industry would continue to expand with the expansion of plantations into large tracts of unused land.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced from Founded Upon the Seas, A History of the Cayman Islands and Their People by Michael Creighton and the New History Committee.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. In a few more minutes of open line, and 1:30 we'll join our good friends from the Health Services Authority. But let's go to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. How are you today?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Afternoon.
Yes, sir. God bless it. God bless it.
Amen.
Is the Abraham back on the chart again?
Yeah, man, Abraham.
Yes, sir. And I have a heal up deal with my brethren for what I'm saying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because we really have to go back to our roots in Cayman Islands, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, the place is going under a crisis. You know, everybody see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a blind eye to anybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And if we don't stand to be together as one, because we can help everybody too, you know, that's coming here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But when I'm looking at is if we keep letting in people in here, and we have a corona virus out there and a Delta that there's no vaccine for, we have to shut the place down. We have to shut the virus down. We have to shut the borders down. And I'm not fighting against that now with no politician here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
So what would be?
I'm only a Cayman and speaking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just trying to set my point straight, you know.
Right.
And every man have a right to say what he wants to say, right? If you don't want to do it, all politicians, if they don't want to do it, that's their business, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I can go lock up my house, you know. I got mango trees and I got breadfruit trees, and I don't have to leave my yard, you know.
Only when they're in season.
I'm saying, if they want to open the country, it's not going to be right now. Don't open the country right now.
When would they?
Don't do it.
When should they?
Huh?
When should we open the country?
When should you open the country?
Yes, sir.
When they find a vaccine for wherever they go there, they name Delta. Look here, Operation Delta Force. When they went into the Middle East, what they done? Destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
We coming out with our boys, and we destroying everything that's there.
Right.
And we coming out. So, if you hear Delta, you know that's a destruction. That's a death. You understand? So people need to understand what this thing means. Delta.
But isn't the country somewhat open now? I mean, not just here.
Nobody in no fright now. But I'm telling them, you can be in a fright overnight. All right? I don't talk. Respect.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for sharing. And maybe blessings to you, man. Blessings to you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm hopeful and prayerful that as a people we start to be, again, a very positive, loving society that are able to respectfully and responsibly engage in a meaningful discourse where they appreciate that there is going to be a dissenting view. There is going to be those of us who champion something from a persuasion of in our own minds, some gauged by emotional intellect, others by simple emotion. Let's take one more call for the break. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. And if you're near the radio with the feedback, you might want to step away.
Okay.
All right. But thanks so much for sharing. How are you today? Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, turn off your radio and just talk to me through the phone if that's what you're using.
Okay.
Okay, thanks much.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, turn off your radio and just talk to me.
All right, so there you go. Thanks so much. How are you?
Well, Mr. Sterling.
Yes, sir.
I just called to let you know that you're doing a wonderful job, and I hope you keep it up. And I am a 65-year-old and 7 months.
God bless.
And I took my 2 vaccine and my booster.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I feel super.
Thank God. Yes, sir.
So that's all I got. Just called to say hello, and you're doing a wonderful job. Have a good day.
And to you too, sir. God bless. And thank you for the encouragement, and thank God for His mercies and grace on us, on you especially. All right, sir?
Okay, sir.
God bless. You know what? So glad that we have young, active, engaged 65-year-olds and 95-year-olds. And maybe we'll be a society that has a wonderful quality of life, who engages and embraces each other, our opinions, our likes and dislikes, the idiosyncrasies that we all possess. And maybe we get to a space where it's about tolerance and acceptance, and not only because of sexual orientation, but of every, facet of our lives. That's one of the beautiful things I love in this country. I can, without much effort, find somebody that is completely different, with different views and values and experiences, and we can embrace them, and we can learn to be better. Well, let's pause and take the break, and when we come back, in that spirit of learning, let's join our good friends from the Health Services Authority as we talk about applied behavioral analysis. You want to know what it is? Well, I do. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine. 20 years.
Remember when Crew Road had no median and Linford Pearson was only 2 lanes?
We do.
When Dirty Reeds was down the street?
We do.
We have been there for the falls, the growth, and the rise. When your body and mind needed to change, Powerhouse Gym has been here. We've skated with you. Your first date, your daughter's first time on skates, your son's first strike. From football to squash, to karate and hockey, to bowling and concerts, and everything in between.
For 20 years.
So much has changed, some for the good and some not so much. Through it all, King Sports Center has been here for you, for Cayman.
King Sports Center, celebrating 20 years as Cayman's home for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our continued discussion. I'm honored always to have this partnership with our Health Services Authority. It does a number of things. It shows us the caliber, the great intellect and expertise that we have at the Health Services Authority. And in that, it also encourages, I hope, many of us to consider careers in the health services. There's so much there that we fail to appreciate. Well, it's a wonderful Tuesday afternoon, and if you're not getting rain in your space, well, you know what? Let there be joy in your heart nonetheless. I'm honored to have two wonderful team members over at the HSA join us. And could it be, just for our listeners, so I don't have to refer to my notes, would you be so kind to just let us know and our listeners?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Arlene McGill. I'm the head of Department of Behavioral Services at the Health Services Authority.
And she said, I am Arlene, just a hit. So Dr. McGill, thank you for joining us. And Ms. Samantha, would you be willing to give us a brief intro as well?
Sure. My name is Samantha Sharp. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I currently work with HSA and provide new services such as in the applied behavior analysis, so ABA services.
All right. When I saw the notes, ABA, American Bar Association, no, we're talking to doctors, not lawyers. And it's just my way of trying to put a little humor in things because it helps. It's a little bit of, honey makes the medicine go down a lot. But Dr. McGill, from that perspective, though, as we look at psychology and psychiatry, counseling, and mental wellness as it is, many times we don't appreciate how significantly important. I'll be mindful and certainly hopefully as respectful as possible to this discussion and focus on it primarily. But the caller prior echoed something that we've heard continually. As people are in spaces where they may feel restricted, it's not that they have some other issue that they don't like to be confined, but just that mental challenge that they may have of being forced, that could provide an issue for them. We can't ignore how it impacts our physical wellness as well.
That's true.
So it's important. Now, ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis. But what is ABA? Ms. Samantha?
In technical terms, we focus on social and environmental factors to alter human behavior. But what we do is mainly focus on problem behaviors such as non-compliance, not listening, tantrums, meltdowns, aggression, property destruction, things like that to decrease, because behavior is a type of communication. They're always trying to communicate something. So then we teach replacement behaviors such as communication, emotional regulation, things like that, and increase teaching skills, whether it be academics or daily living skills.
So behavior modification, Dr. McGill, from that perspective? Or more than that?
It is a type of behavior modification technique, yes.
All right. And as I listen to Ms. Samantha, I realize that many of us sadly will probably point to others and probably to children. But even as adults, I would imagine that as you describe some of that, okay, we'll say a tantrum and we think a child, but do we as adults have something that is akin to a tantrum? We just call it something else. So who is who's this for, if I might, this ABA?
Sure. So most of our clients can range from 18 months, as young as 18 months. We focus on play skills, social skills, communication, definitely. But then it ranges from adolescents and adults as well.
And you reference communication because I think sometimes, we go back to maybe it's a parody of some sort. Use your words. We get frustrated for different reasons, and we're not able to verbalize that level of or lack of communication that we have.
The emotions are so big. A child or adolescent or adult could have the words normally, but the emotion overcomes them. So we do prompt them, what we say, or give them some assistance. I'm not, this is too difficult for me. I need a break. I need help. Those kind of things.
And I think, too, we see some people, again, I'm thinking perhaps not just the child, but the adult, want to express something, even something positive, but can do so in action and not necessarily verbalize it. Just like we would see the tantrum and the breaking of something, we may see somebody expressing appreciation through a gift or through a touch, something.
And that's quite true, that we have different love languages, so to speak. And I think, as Samantha spoke, there might be people in quarantine getting ideas, but no, you have to go through public health and get referred, because you did bring up something before.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
Being in quarantine can really bring out some of those features that we thought we had unlearned a long time before. However, ABA is focused on those persons who have not yet learned the skills.
Well, I'm very grateful that Dr. Lockhart, I guess one of your colleagues, early last year joined us on air for that discussion. It was something that I had referenced from what physicians were sharing, just casually, what friends and family, extended people were saying. Hey, I'm confined to this place. I'm feeling this thing. Many people exercise like they never did. Many people eat all sorts of things. Some people engage in drink of all sorts. As on my unlearned sort of thought process to cope with this thing and to be caged. Now, I wonder to what extent we are appreciative of words, quarantine, lockdown. Those are words that in history were synonymous with certain things that are today now is so bandied about so freely that I wonder to what extent our young people have become conditioned that the words no longer have that, at least to me, the significance. Dr. McGill, I mean, what are we doing for future generations? Do we even know?
It's going to be interesting to see how the next 10 years pan out. And one of the things, too, in this COVID environment is we have to remember that the neurodiverse child is very much a part of the community. And they have more challenges with some of the things that we are doing than others, and they can easily be misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm glad you referenced that word neurodiverse, because we increasingly hear it in many places. I say this with a great deference. I do not enjoy watching the thing on the screen. I'd rather read something than to watch it. But you turn it on in some films that you watch, they reference it in passing. So neurodiverse, Ms. Samantha, what does that mean? I mean, a new word, I guess, for some of us.
Yes. I mean, typically it refers to people with autism. It could also refer to people who have learning disabilities or intellectual disabilities, developmental delays, ADHD, things like that.
Is it always disabilities in terms of learning and the like, or is that what neurodiverse would sort of have the connotation, Dr. Gill?
No, it's a variation, and the challenges that cause problems sometimes in childhood become strengths in adulthood. And but the other side of it I wanted to mention is that there can be many reasons for the neurodiversity, as Samantha will probably tell you. Yes, you can be born with the challenges, but you could have been in an accident. You could have had a serious disease, and I know she knows a lot more about these things than I do.
Yeah. Well, we'll tap into that expertise. She is, I am, if I may say publicly, you make us very proud, and we see the opportunities that our society continues to afford. Hopeful as a people we start to champion. And if anybody says this is political, then so be it. But education and healthcare, because that is the pillar, those pillars in our society. So kudos to you, Ms. Samantha.
Thank you so much.
Neurodiverse, but then there's also, from the press release in particular, neurotypical. And again, you know what? Well, what's the difference? What is neurotypical?
It would refer to persons in the community who haven't experienced the traumatic brain injuries or lack of enriching environment, the basic foundation skills that are provided to them in a nurturing home environment or accessing education.
And when you think about it, you would imagine that today in particular we would believe that we are cognizant of all these things, that we are appreciative of what is available to help us to get better and be assisted and the like. And yet many times we'll be oblivious to even what we're experiencing. So I'm wondering now, one, is there a level of stigma still for those of us to say, like, I could use a strategy, I could benefit from speaking to someone who is experienced and has that a level of expertise?
There's still stigma. What I'm finding, though, is that stigma is becoming more and more a developmental issue. So children are fine with getting help. Adolescents, as they go through individuation, they feel they're supposed to be able to master everything. And it's not until they get into their 20s that they realize, no, adulthood is really about knowing how to access help.
Yeah, how to navigate
get what you need. Yeah. So the old days where there was, I should say it's also cultural. So there are some cultures where the concept of needing help with anything mental is a problem. But thankfully, I think that is becoming less and less as the generations pass by.
And I think as we find more and more opportunities for public education discussion, and people agree with Samantha who are championing that and showing that this is just another sort of tool within our kit that improves us.
Exactly.
That's right.
Okay. Well, when we come back from this break, could we invite you to share with us maybe some of the added benefits of it, how to access it, and the like, so that people appreciate that, like anything, you are better because, well, you have better resources available to you that you take advantage of. Yes. I'm going to pause and take that short break. Please join us after.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners. Ask about our ongoing discounts. Puritan Cleaners now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 3 convenient locations to serve you: Savannah, Countryside, Elgin Avenue, Georgetown, and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive through, rain or shine. Free pickup and delivery. Call Puritan Cleaners at 949-7104. You feel good when you look good.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us in the studio, Dr. Arlene McGill. I guess it's the Psychiatry and Behavioral Services Unit at HSA?
Yes.
Is that okay? She's the head up there, and one day she'll get to go fishing and tend to her garden. We'll prepare for it. And of course, Miss Samantha Sharp. Look at her next to the McCoy. So it bodes well, right? And I think we should start to appreciate that we have so much opportunities, for our society and for our people. And I think as the first came in to earn her BCBA, accreditation and credentials, that's a testament to the growing sort of nation-building efforts that we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're talking about ABA. You told me that's applied behavioral analysis.
Yes.
Sounds like, something fascinating and fancy. So ABA.
Yeah.
Basically, it's how we're looking at people and how to figure out
behavior.
how to make them better. And all right.
Yeah.
I can see back to the old days of the images in those old black and white films where the mad scientists had the little probes on it.
No.
Not that anymore? Okay. All right. What do we do these days?
So, part of a ABA program would be how to address behaviors, and that's first how to identify the triggers or the antecedents of why the behavior occurred. And then from there, how the behavior looks, if it's non-compliance, is it just protesting, or is it not completing homework, saying no, those kind of things. And then how we react to the behavior, because how we react determines the likelihood of if the behavior will occur again in the future.
Repetition. Yeah.
Yes.
You referenced non-compliance or protesting. Almost seems like a subtle difference, but I suspect it's not semantics.
So, not listening, for example, is one definition of non-compliance. So, each behavior is individualized to the person. So, I could say non-compliance is saying no, protesting, or your child could refuse to do homework. So we just want to make sure. So non-compliance is it is a broad term. So we do, whenever I have an interview with a parent, I always try to gather as much details as possible to ensure that we're addressing it appropriately, because I could say, for instance, be looking for protesting, but it's really not completing homework.
Okay. And I think sometimes too we see that with our children, and Dr. Bill, well, go right ahead. I'm going to ask you in relation to something else, but jump in if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say that one of the things that happens very commonly in families is that the child is protesting something and the parent is unaware that it's a protest. They think it's a rebellion against them. And that is one of the things that is addressed in ABA, for the parent to actually disassociate the child's behavior from their ego, their self-esteem then, and relate to the child as a parent and not,
I think as I listen to you, and I want to be guided that I don't sort of misstate nor misspeak, nor certainly misunderstand, but you talk about the cultural nuances. We would say, well, you don't want to break the spirit of the child. So here's this child that is independent in thinking, and how do you nurture and guide that child so that there's a respectful, responsive approach. But by the same token, how do they have that spirit? So the intellectually engaged child, maybe that's a better term, tends to sometimes want to exert a certain level of independence. Yes. And as a parent, you might go, well, you're getting too big for your britches, boy, smelling your rank, and not appreciate that.
Right.
This is the child that you want. So
it's very common, and there are behaviors that we want to eliminate, and then there are behaviors that we want to decrease or have boundaries with. So then the assertiveness and opinionated child, we do want to have at least certain boundaries, like, okay, this is a hard no, let's reel it back in. So you'll have those rules, you'll have the talk, you'll have those expectations moving forward.
So am I then gathering that as a child in particular, this is as much an opportunity for the child as it is for the parent, if not more so.
Definitely. So a good ABA program will involve parents, caregivers, teachers, even if you need that support, any other family member that has daily contact with the child, so everyone can be on the same page, implement the same strategies, react the same way to the behavior.
Now, you referenced at 18 months, and I know some of us as parents are 18-month-old is very independent already. And for some, the 18-month-old seems to be, if I can borrow the word that we use, throwing tantrums, screaming and things. And we may first talk to me, the child has the child has this or that, and it could possibly be that. So where do we, Dr. Miguel, where do we look at that 18-month-old versus the 18-year-old, or on the cusp of 18, the 16?
Well, here we go again with neurodiverse. And I guess I'm making a little thingy here, play on words, in a sense that many persons don't necessarily recognize that they are neurodiverse in some way. A lot of people slug their way through. But even for the so-called neurotypical person, the reaction is going to be either learned, or it can be coming from their deepest internal bent to a situation that they do not feel they can control. And I guess Ms. Samantha will say a bit more of this, because that is the thing with children. They're confronted with things that for adults, they think it's simple. But for a neurodiverse child, it might be something quite complicated. Even for a neurodiverse adult, it might be complicated for them to process and work through.
But I can imagine, even the adult, age 25 or age 45, this is a behavior that, this is your norm. This is what you've done. Everybody knows,
Sorry to cut you off.
No, go right ahead. I want you to.
Yeah, so as we all know, people are, parents and the patient are stuck in their ways, right? So the unlearning will take time. It will take a lot of effort and consistency on both parts. So if you're an adult and you've been able to avoid daily living skills such as making a sandwich for yourself or other chores, and you have that new behavior expectation, now it's time for you to make your own sandwich, we have to approach that systematically. We have to break down the steps of a sandwich maybe, and teach it one step at a time. It's not a quick fix, it's not overnight, just like how diets or prescribed antibiotics take time. Changing behavior takes time as well.
And that's why wives mustn't get upset with their husbands when they mix the whites with the coloreds and throw them in there. It takes time. You got to break it down.
But it's one wash. You wear them together, right? What do you have? Now you tell me. No, but and thank you for that, Jess, because I think this is part of what we don't appreciate. People come with different expectations, and I use the kitchen as an example. There are many of us that are very, very comfortable and very, very confident, but also very competent in the kitchen. And whether it's a gas stove or it's one of these new fancy things that, with induction heat, you can go in there and you can simmer and saute, and you can, steam and do all the good things. But someone's going, well, is this the pot handle or is this the measuring cup?
Exactly.
If you don't know and you're not invited to share, it becomes a challenge. How do we access the service? Because I think as we listen to it, I am hopeful that people aren't immediately labeling, and more importantly, unwilling to look at ourselves and say, well, I'm aged at this point, or I have something, this could help me as well. And then is there medication? Is there a pill for that? Is there an app for that? Are those things that we could ask Dr. McGill maybe? Because too many things we believe that there's an app for that.
Or a pill.
Or a pill. I think we should get a pill for stupidity, but that's a different story. I'll take that right now myself. All right, let's pause and take that break. When we come back, Dr. Arlene McGill and Ms. Samantha Sharp, we're talking about the applied behavioral analysis over at HSA. And this is a very, very advanced and advancing society. So I want to learn more when we come back. Please, stay tuned.
Defunct.
This Wednesday, we're having a free mic.
Subject.
It's just us and you, if you call it.
Our word of the week is defunct. DEFUNCT.
Defunct.
It is an adjective that means no longer living, existing, active, usable, or in use.
That has nothing to do with youth flex.
Cause we full of functioning.
Join us this Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. right here on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM, and you can also check us out on YouTube Live. For Youth Flex, the program for all people by young people. Youth Flex, more in talk.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Medical professionals from Cayman 3 hospitals, the wider healthcare community, and overseas medical institutions, as well as government officials, will speak at the upcoming Cayman Islands Healthcare Conference on a variety of topics related to finding and embracing optimal health in the COVID-19 pandemic. The conference takes place from Thursday, October 7th to Saturday, October 9th as a virtual event, and the public is invited to view the 3-day program live via CIG TV, cable channels, and the CIG TV YouTube channel. In international news, Boris Johnson is not worried about the current jobs gap and rising prices in the UK, saying supply chains will sort themselves out rapidly. The Prime Minister told the BBC that the economy was facing the stresses and strains of a post-COVID recovery, but he said the country was moving to a new approach, with companies paying higher wages for UK workers rather than relying on low-paid immigration. 3 scientists have been awarded the 2021 Nobel Prize in Physics for their work to understand complex systems such as the Earth's climate. Their research led to computer models of the Earth's climate that can predict the impact of global warming. It is incredibly difficult to predict the long-term behavior of complex physical systems such as the climate. Computer models that anticipate how it will respond to rising greenhouse gas emissions have therefore been crucial for understanding global warming as a planetary emergency. Whether it's watching a show like Squid Game or listening to K-pop, Korean influence is growing stronger. And now that South Korean influence has reached the Oxford English Dictionary, the accepted authority on the English language, it has added 26 new words of Korean origin to its latest edition. Korean food features heavily in the latest list, with some of the new additions including banchan, bulgogi, kimbap, and media editions such as K-drama and mukbang. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And if you can, just join us. Perhaps through this discussion, you may find it of benefit to you personally or to someone that is important to you. So we talk about ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis, Dr. Arlene McGill, together with Ms. Samantha Sharp, the first Caymanian board-certified behavioral analyst. And as I say that not only with great pride, but to recognize that, unfortunately, sometimes through our economics and our politics, we may look at ourselves as a developing or a subpar nation. But when we look at education, we're wondering, are we raising the tide? And when we see people like you, Samantha in particular, we see the prospects, the potential for a very, very promising future to be able to have this service available to us. won't give any particular jurisdictions, but I know many with millions don't have the level of access that we would have here.
That's so true.
Oh, thank you, Dr. McGill. And that's not to disparage other places, that is to cement in us that we take for granted too much of what is available to our own, and maybe just out of a sense of unwillingness, a sense of courage, maybe, to step forward. I don't know. We'll see, right, Dr. McGill?
Yeah.
All right. Behavioral health. I know where the ER is at HSA. I know where the GP is, the cardiology, and the Women's Health Center. I know where most things are. I believe, anyway. At least Miss Norma told me. Behavioral health at the HSA. Where is it located?
It's located at Smith Road Center, third floor, behavioral health entrance.
Okay. And that's where the asbestos clinic is, where the elections office used to be, where the pharmacy used to be, where the governor's office used to be.
That's
okay.
right.
So if you don't know where that is, it's the big building on Smith Road, right? So we come in and it's on the third floor.
That's right.
All right. If someone wants to make an appointment, first off, can they walk in? Do they have to make an appointment? How do we go about getting to see you, Mr. Samantha?
Appointment would be nice. You can call 244-2650. And my email address is samantha.mccoy@hsa.ky.
Okay. And if not, just call the main line at HSA, 949-8600, and they can power transfer you, maybe?
That's
possibly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, I want to invite you to for a greater emphasis that this is for all of us. Don't look at it and make some label. It can benefit us, but we're looking for, I guess, 18-month-old and the adolescent, for the parent and the child.
Yes.
But potentially for those of us who probably have missed the boat early on. Right? I'm going to tap into some more.
And I really want to encourage people to be willing to look at these things. There are many of us who have become adults but feel embarrassed by deficiencies. And we have difficulty when we take our child who has ADHD to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and we are told, well, this thing runs in families, so who in the family has it? Nobody wants to own up. It's a fascinating thing. But more and more, I ask myself the question, who is really neurotypical? Is there really such a thing?
I was asking that.
We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. And a lot of us are born that way. It's what makes us unique. But to survive in an increasingly complex world, we need to hone our skills. So being willing to recognize, yes, I do have problems with labels. I cut all the labels out of my clothing. And yes, I do have problems with those kind and those kind of colored foods and so forth. I wonder if that is why I seem to isolate or run to the bathroom every time something goes wrong in my area rather than confront it. These are questions we should ask, and if we see those things in our children, to actually not be judging the child, but to be open enough to say, maybe I should have my child assessed. Maybe I should be assessed.
As I was trying to find my earlier note, Dr. as you were speaking, and looking back to what I wrote down and preparing for neurotypical, and I think one of the challenges that since English is my primary language, I speak best Basum often, but other than that, again, attempt at humor, an attempt. Neurotypical. That person for whom they believe that their response, their view is the only one or the only correct one. And for some of us, we'll assign labels, but then I saw autism and neurotypical being almost connected. Ms. Samantha, do they go hand in hand, or can it be that there are other things?
I wouldn't say they go hand in hand. I mean, if you do have any concerns, I think it would be best to maybe have a doctor's visit, and from there they can refer to the respective service providers. Yeah.
I think, Dr. McGill, from that perspective, we see the behaviors. I may want to ask of recognizing from our discussion that we're looking at behavioral modification in a sense. And if I use it incorrectly, please help me to say it properly. And the young child who throws a tantrum, who is not able to communicate effectively what is it that the child is experiencing, to maybe an older child or even the adult that may smash something in order to express something, because at that point there's frustration, there's anger. How does that play into the ABA concept, Dr. McGill?
Well, I think Samantha will tell you that it can be applied to various age groups. And when something becomes problematic to your normal functioning, your everyday functioning, then it's time to address it. And it makes sense then to go see your doctor, go get a referral to our department, and have the psychiatrist to review your situation and make a determination concerning what you might need.
Okay.
Sorry, just to touch on that. So there are 4 main reasons why behavior occurs or happens. So there is escape from something or avoiding something. So loud, so homework or putting your toys away, things like that. Then there's access to things, so access to the iPad or phone or TV. Then there or a favorite food. Then there's attention. Like, hey, look at me. And then there's sensory, so the touch, the certain touch, the loud noises, the overcrowded birthday parties or church, things like that. So while I say there are 4, there can also be the reasons could also be multifunctional. So it could be first escape from homework, but then you're chasing after him or her to get him to sit down and complete the homework, and then he starts laughing. So then it turns into attention. He wants that chase. So just being mindful and having a baby. As
you share with the whole idea of avoiding escape, sometimes we may, let me ask, see the child procrastinating in our minds. They're sitting there and they're doodling, for instance, not tackling that particular thing. Well,
yeah, so there are quite a few different behavior interventions. There's a self-monitoring checklist, so you'll have a few rules to follow. Am I watching the teacher? Did I complete my math homework? Did I complete my chores? And they'll be able to monitor themselves in an afternoon schedule, for instance. But then there's what we call reinforcement. Some people interchange it with rewards, but reinforcement just makes the behavior happen more in the future. So it could be definitely a favorite cookie or a favorite game that they're able to get once they do something. So it's not bribery where you're trying to get out of something and you don't have to do anything, but it is you do this for me, you get that. So the timing, I know you really don't like homework, so first you do your homework, then you have extra time on the iPad or TV.
I guess it's kind of what parents used to say, work before you get paid.
Exactly.
But go back
to so a lot of parents are hesitant. Oh, I don't want to reward my child. I don't want them to get into the habit that everything they do, they get a reward. But we as adults work to get paid. So over time, initially, actually, the reinforcement may be every day or every activity that they get acknowledged, and reinforcers are provided, but then we systematically fade out the reinforcement, so it's every other day, it's every 3 days. So supports are not permanent, they are supposed to be faded out.
So is that to avoid conditioning? I mean, I think
it's a type of conditioning, but it's to avoid reliance or dependency
on
the
outside methods, because remember, eventually you have to find your own internal reinforcement for completing a task.
And as I listen to this is where I appreciate that the human dynamic, the human behavior is so significant. Many of us get to a certain space in our lives, probably adults, we even have phrases like comfort foods. Right? We feel this thing, we go to that thing, whatever that thing is, right? I have a friend, for her it's a run. She's, getting a lot of pressure at work. That 5-mile run is what I needed. Sometimes it's a 10-mile run, as it were. So recognizing what helps you to decompress, but also how it helps you to be internally motivated. All right, I'm told we got to find a little break to take. They come quickly, Miss Samantha?
Yes.
I tell you, man. If I say these breaks last, no, I won't say that. So when we come back, maybe we could ask you then, how do we get to a space and a place where we as people appreciate the importance of self-regulation or emotional control? How to triggers, you call it under the preceptors? Antecedent. Yeah, not the phrase, antecedent.
Yes, antecedent.
Much better word, yeah. What comes before, right?
Sure,
All right, well, let's pause and take this break. This comes from next. We'll have that discussion. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online. And you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I'm trusting that you are as appreciative of the wonderful services our Health Services Authority has on offer as we continue the discussion with Dr. Ali McGill and Ms. Samantha Sharp. Applied behavioral analysis. It's amazing what is available here. But into the break we were chatting, but Dr. McGill, if you want to maybe chime in and share with us some stuff.
Where do you want me to go with this?
I want to ask specifically, as we were talking earlier about, the behaviors and sometimes the failure to recognize some of the things and the antecedents, as Ms. Sharp was, Ms. Samantha was sharing. Maybe we don't appreciate how these things impact us, and we respond to it, and then those around us go, that's the norm. It doesn't have to be, right?
No, it doesn't. But it may take work, and a fair amount of work to sort it out.
Are we then, when we're looking at young people, we may be a little bit more forgiving and understanding, perhaps, hopeful as we provide for them the resources and opportunity to get the necessary assistance. But what about us as adults? Whether we're entering the workplace for the first time, whether we are been there for a while, that as you referenced doing a break, the neurodiverse individual in the working environment.
Yes.
Can you share with us some of those things?
Well, I think we forget that as we develop, we gain control over some of those behaviors, but it's at the expense of a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So the person who goes into the workplace, and let's face facts, with the growing number of persons who are high-functioning autistics or ADHDers with a lot of control, we do have persons in our workplace. We, people who don't understand, they get labeled, oh, they're crazy, they're weird, they're this, they get ostracized. And it goes to show that we still have a lot of educating to do in our community and even in our workplaces. Now, the person who is neurodiverse might need a corner cubicle, not a cubicle in the middle of the office. They might even need to work from home, and they actually produce more from home than when they're in the office fighting all the distractions. They may need more frequent breaks, and people might see them walking back and forth from the water cooler to their and have comments to make. And really and truly, it speaks to the fact that we don't accept diversity well. We don't accept that people are different. We want everybody to make us feel as if we are normal. I don't know what normal is, actually. But I say that because it does take a different attitude. If work is about production, then essentially we should be happy if the person can produce.
So whether you're doing it at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or you're doing it from 5 p.m. to
exactly.
8 a.m. Once the work is done, the client and the output. But we're not there. I mean, I look at last year. Some people flourished much more than they ever did because they were working in their space.
Yes.
Other people were challenged. They didn't have that stimulation, that interaction, that level of accountability, as it were, like exercise.
Correct.
You know, we want to exercise in groups or by ourselves. So then, if I then might then ask, then maybe it's an opportune time. We see the growing need to look after our health and wellness. We perhaps share with us some of the additional services as we come back to the discussion that is now on offer at HSA in their behavioral health department.
And especially as we go through this constantly changing environment with the COVID virus out there, we don't know what it's doing.
Yeah.
So we still only have 18 patient beds, but we're pushing more and more for people to consider getting help early, to not be ashamed of it, to not be afraid of it, to not run to smoking weed as a solution. And then coming into the emergency room in a crisis. We've expanded our psychiatry services. We have a neuropsychiatrist, which means there's somebody that can deal with complicated Parkinson's, complicated migraine, complicated seizure, traumatic brain injury from accidents and so forth that are affecting the person's functioning psychiatrically and psychologically. There is a psychiatrist there. We even have somebody who does hypnotherapy, which is good for people who have traumatic experiences and also are unable to shake certain memories that continue to hold them back. As you see, we have added ABA and we are expanding our psychology sub-department. That's very important. We've even expanded services to Cayman Brac, and we look forward to expanding it further.
All right. If I could then ask, if someone listening now, do they need a referral to access any of your services? I know Ms. Samantha said, they can call and make an appointment with her, but do we need a referral? And if so, which of the services would we need a referral?
Well, generally, because there are over 99 physical disorders that create problems in our brain, we do prefer that the person has had a medical. And even if they approach us first, they'll be guided so that they don't waste their time. And of course, in a crisis, we're not going to turn somebody away. We'll make sure that they get the immediate help they need, and then that they get the physical done.
Right. And I'm thinking, Ms. Samantha, from that perspective, that the parent in particular, that is, you're talking about an 18-month-old, it could be a 7-year-old, it could be a 13-year-old, wondering, well, is my child, in need of this service? Well, don't leave that determination up to the parent.
No.
Come in and see you.
I would prefer if they went to the doctor or pediatrician, and then the pediatrician will refer them to me.
Okay. So the parent then ask, listen, I've been having this issue. What else is available? Yes. Would this be of benefit?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's part of the problem, Dr. McGill. We as parents either don't know, we may know but dismiss it because that's just normal. I was like that as a child. My colleague's child is like that too.
Yeah. But so, this is a different world.
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm mindful, and I don't wish to be overly disrespectful at all, but I'm very, very adamant about it. We need to be very careful that, as you said, what is going to, the impact going to be like in 10 years. Our children, I use the word condition, it's not just, going back to what we've seen with experiments, but we ourselves know. How many of us feel that, I'm just feeling down, I need an extra, chocolate, I need that extra bowl of ice cream, or even something healthy in our minds like that run. Yeah. But did we go for that run, a proper frame of mind, having prepared our bodies properly so that we don't get some injury post-run? We need to be a little bit more mindful, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
And I want to touch on something because I think a lot of people get scared away as well because of the financial aspect of things. And there are persons who have difficulty accessing what the needs assessment unit offers to all Caymanians that are in need. And we are perfectly prepared to listen and to assist as far as it's possible. It's still going to mean an assessment, but we want to make sure that our population is operating at optimal mental health. So we will try.
Yeah. I think if we're healthy mentally, we'll be better positioned to have a better quality of life and to produce, to be more productive. Mr. Matthew, you were referencing, some of the 4 issues, although they could overlap. You talked about sensory, and I was thinking, that child in particular, but even the adult. We see a nice, wonderful fireworks display, and some dogs responding, but so is the child, and even some of the adults. Would you share maybe a little bit more about that environment and the potential antecedent?
Sure. So in that situation, the antecedent or trigger would be the fireworks, and the behavior would be the meltdown or the crying, the maybe running away even, and then that turns into a safety issue. So trying to prevent that situation or accommodating that situation as much as possible could help in the long term. We know that we can't control every firework. So what can we do if we know Pirates Week is coming? Maybe inform your child that, okay, it's Pirates Week, the fireworks are going to start, it's going to be loud. Do you want headphones? Do you want earplugs? Do you want to listen to music? Trying to mask as much as possible the sound of the fireworks. If not possible, then maybe turning on a TV show or something to trying to limit the noise of the fireworks.
I mean, we don't necessarily get as much rain and thunder as we did as children, Dr. McGill. But even then, it was loud. Maybe it was the rooms and the houses we're in weren't as insulated as they are now. Yeah. But those were, again, the family pet as well as the child. But think back, some of us as adults didn't really like that loud. Yep. So it's important to be aware of it. And Dr. McGill?
That's right.
So no pill, no app.
No pill?
No.
They might develop apps.
Yeah, I wouldn't hope that. Maybe we just need a little more love.
And a lot of patience.
A lot of patience.
Yeah, a lot of patience.
Ah, man. But I think this is where we start to appreciate that this community has a lot to know for, and I commend our governments for continually investing in our health services and through educational opportunities for our people to not just advance their studies, but to initially get introduced to some areas. The first, I came on in. I Dr. McGill, I want to say, Dr. Samantha Sharp. So maybe soon.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm encouraging her.
Can I do so publicly as well?
Oh.
I had to erase when I wrote it down first, and I know it's not easy. I know many of us procrastinate. We don't want to do it because of the sacrifice, even with the support of those in our society.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot. So if you can, please pursue it.
Okay.
It's going to bode well for you, but in a very, very selfish way for our society.
Yes.
And I'm hopeful the people listening would increasingly step away from the potential stigmas for others as well as for ourselves.
That's.
If I might, as I started with you first, Dr. McGill, any closing thoughts, and then Ms. Samantha, if you wish.
I just want to encourage people to have the courage to really move from how you are to more of how you want to be. And our services are there to help.
Be the best you can be. Huh?
That's right.
Okay, into the future, Dr. Samantha Sharp. Call those things that aren't as if they were.
Yes, I just also want to let people know that if you do have a question or this gut feeling that maybe, I could use the service, reach out and we can definitely discuss if this is the right service for you. If we have to collaborate with others, then we'll refer you to the specific service provider needed.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, I'm very grateful that we were able to have this discussion. Hopefully people listened and weren't too inattentive, but thanks very much.
Thank you for having us.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, well, I would hope that you'll join me in our continued prayer for our leadership and continuing positioning of our people in our society to not just be empowered, educated, and informed, but actively engaged and to recognize that our health extends to our spiritual, our financial, or emotional, so that our society can indeed be that much better. Well, we want you to join me starting in the morning for the record. Come back for Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. I always believe, love is what makes the world go round. And that love is the agape love that we speak to, not just the Euros. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in